To the May 21st, 2026 Park Board meeting. We're going to call it to order. Do we have any announcements?
I don't think we do today.
Okay. Do we have any members of the public who want to make any comments tonight?
I think it's for the agenda items, though.
Okay, so are most of these regarding cemetery? Okay. Are you okay with waiting until we get to that portion? Awesome. All right, so let's talk about the meeting minutes from April 16th, 2026. Do we have a motion to approve those?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the meeting minutes from April 16th, 2026 are approved. It looks like most of us are in the process of and have signed the May claims. Does anybody have any comments or questions? All right, do we have a motion for approval of May claims?
I'll make a motion to approve the May claims.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, May claims are approved. Human Resources Report, do you want to talk about that at all?
Sure, since you can't see it, since we have no internet. Yeah, it's just the normal lifeguards and concession workers and camp counselors. I looked at it before the internet went out today, so that was what's on there.
We got a full house on all of those?
We do. We're ready.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
Great.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve Human Resources Report?
I make a motion to approve the Human Resources Report for May 21st meeting.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Human Resources Report is approved. Okay, one of the things on the next thing on our agenda is actually the Green Lawn Cemetery rule change, elimination of shepherd's hooks. I think it was the last meeting or the meeting before, the board talked about the prospect of removing shepherd's hooks from around the cemetery plots that were causing problems with mowing, health and safety issues for our staff members who were working out there. I think there's a little process tweak I want to make from the last meeting. If you guys aren't opposed, I want to talk about this a little bit, because one of the things we talked about last time was simply agreeing that the shepherd's hook should be removed and putting a notice that they would be removed within 60 days, posting that notice. I think since then, the notice requested comments on that issue, and we received a lot of good comments. And I think we probably need to maybe open up our, rather than just deal with it on its face, whether it's an approval or denial, we'd like to open it up for comments, see if maybe there's some tweaks that we could make to the policy. And I think put it on the agenda for maybe a final visit in August. So with that in mind, let's start with anybody on the board who has comments, and then folks from the public if you have comments. When it's your turn, if you wouldn't mind going up to the podium and speaking into the microphone so that folks who are watching can hear, we would appreciate that. So anybody else on the board want to talk about this, or you guys saw the comments that we received? Anybody want to add anything before we kind of open it up?
I've got a few comments, but I think I'd rather wait to hear what.
Okay.
Can I make, let me back up, because I know only one person was in the room when we talked about it before, because I think it's important to know where we started from, right?
Yeah.
Is that Dale brought it to our attention that there are obviously numerous shepherd's hooks in the cemetery, thousands probably. There are roughly 15,000 headstones out there. What became an issue is that, and you guys, I love that you guys are here, because you guys are probably the good shepherd's hook people is what I call you, is that a lot of the shepherd's hooks out there are perfect, right? They're exactly like they should be installed. They have flowers on them. They're exactly what everybody should do. Our issue that Dale brought to us is that most of them aren't that way. Most of them are hanging over into what we call the mowing path of the mowers. And when they're mowing, their eyes are down, not up, because they're trying not to hit the headstones when they mow. So we've had a couple of people that actually have gotten whacked by shepherd's hooks that are leaning over, way over than they should be. So our mowers are getting hit in the head with these things because their eyes should be down because we do not want them to nick the headstones. That's where we got into this discussion about was, what do we do? In the meantime, we've gotten great comments from people, and hopefully you guys made some comments, because there are some good ones out there. And I had Dale go out and we took about 50 pictures of shepherd's hooks, and I had him take good ones and bad ones, and there are several good ones out there. Our issue is, and I think what Beth is trying to get at, is we have a heartburn punishing the good people because of the people that aren't maintaining them, and you guys maybe are maintaining them. So I think that's what some of this discussion is going to be about, is what is that middle ground? What can we do to, do we take away the shepherd's hooks of the people that aren't maintaining them? Or, our problem is that there again, there could be 5,000 of these things out there, right?
Did you
The whole
really?
cemetery? That's awesome. How many were there?
1,274.
Whew, that's a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's if we count it correctly.
Good for you, though, for doing that.
Thank you
I
for
love
doing
that. Thank you.
that.
Does anybody want to challenge them on that number?
Nope. I totally believe them. So yeah, I'm glad you guys did that, because that's a great example of, they're probably, of those 1,200, a third of them are probably good. 2/3 of them are the ones that are hanging over or hanging, to the side or something like that. We have heartburn, all of us do, including Dale, of punishing the good people that are maintaining them when the other people aren't doing that. Our problem is, what do we do about that, right? That's the issue. So go ahead, I'm sorry. I just want to put a framework of what we're talking about.
Yeah, we would appreciate hearing from you folks. We're looking at constructing a policy. So how you feel about it personally and how you feel about it globally as a community, like what can we do to make this situation better? So, sir, if we could start with you.
My name is Kyle, and we have a daughter buried there. 3 years ago, she was the one who drowned at Whiteland High School. So this is, using the shepherd hooks and other things, that's the only way we get to show, how much we love and miss her. I noticed that a lot of times, sometimes we'll have a note on ours saying, we're too far out, or something like that. And I think maybe we could do something like that with the shepherd hooks, and say, hey, if you don't, we will remove them. It may take an extra 10 minutes a day, or, the guys, they can put something on their tractor, they can pull it out, put it in there and keep mowing. I know they look down, I get it. I don't want nobody hurt or anything. Sure. But it's like, that's it, man. All of our loved ones are there. And, this is what she does. This is all she can do for her, I understand. Like I said, I don't want nobody hurt. I don't want anybody hurt or anything like that. But I've noticed, like I said, those notes on our tells us, hey, if you don't fix this issue, we're gonna fix it for you. We'll take it and throw it away or whatever they do with them. And I think, why can't we do that? Why punish the good?
Yeah.
Because that's not fair at all. We spend hours. We spend money. We spend at home. We have totes at home with different size shepherd hooks. We try to change it once a month, to show that, we still love her and, we're doing things like that. If I could just show you what we do at home to, get ready, just to change the things, it would break our hearts, And I got one question, if you guys can answer this. Before this year, how many accidents were from shepherd hooks? How many times has it came up to you guys that, hey, we need to get rid of these things? How many times has that happened?
Do we know?
Two guys, two guys got hit in the face.
I mean,
I actually got one caught on the back of the mower and I pulled out of the ground, flipped up, hit me in the back
Yep.
of the head.
So this year then, Was there anything before that? I mean, you know what I mean? I'm trying to justify the taking them out
That's probably over the last couple of years.
last couple of years. So a couple injuries a year, I don't want that to happen either. But like I said, then just tell us, we'll take them out. Even if ours slip over on the storm or something, we can take it out, or we can fix them.
You guys are one of the ones.
And I know that. I know, we have a bigger than 12 inches, sometimes. But, it's because,
A little bit over 12.
yep, which we're going to fix that as soon as the grass grows, because we just planted some more grass there. Do you want to say anything?
Thank you, guys. I just like the idea, we were counting today, obviously, we counted as many as we could see in the whole cemetery. I think maybe reconsidering, there is already a plan that things need to be within a border, like there is supposed to be a border. There were several stones out there that had shepherd hooks but didn't have a border. So that's also a consideration, because I know that border around helps them not get too close and not mow. So that was the thing that I was thinking about, was that putting that border there, because there were stones that had shepherd hooks that didn't have any, didn't have any border. Or requiring that if there's a shepherd hook in the ground, like it has to have something on it, so they're not empty. If you don't have a flag, or you don't have flowers on it at that time, then you need to, remove the shepherd hook. There's a spot that's not too far from our daughter, and that's all they have there is just a shepherd hook, meaning they might not have the funds to put a stone, but I would hate for them not to have anything to mark their loved ones. So even a compromise of it has to be within a border, even the little bricks, and it has to have something on it, at least that would potentially make it visible for the mowers. So there's the flowers hanging there, there's a flag, there's something, because unfortunately almost all shepherd hooks come in black. So they're not neon yellow or pink or any of those things unless you paint them.
Yeah, and I'll be willing to paint, Heck, I'd be willing to go through and get them all. It'll take me a couple days, but I'll put them all back up. I'll straighten them up or whatever we have to do to keep these, because this is all we have, with our daughter. So just FYI, you don't have to pay me. I'll go back sure and make sure they're all out of the path. And that goes for the whole cemetery. This is what I have to do. She's my.
I'm glad you brought up we discussed that at the meeting, that one of the issues is exactly what you just said, is they are black, they blend in, and if there's nothing on them, and then they're leaning, that's triple the problem.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, well,
I need to put flags on them.
and thank you so much for your comments, and I'm so very sorry for your loss. Is there anybody else? Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, I'm Tom Wisniewski. I didn't really come here for this issue anyway, and I did notice it on the agenda, but my father and my wife are at Green Lawn anyway, so it is an issue for me too. I've had, particularly by my wife's grave, I've had some tall shepherd hooks there. I've had a problem over the years with, and I don't blame the cemetery, don't get me wrong, the hooks are being taken out. And so I've had a couple times I've had to replace them, and then finally I've started to just give up because I don't know what's going on. And I went over to the office once or twice. They're very nice, but what can they do anyway? I had taller ones. When I'm listening to this issue over here, the other option that I tried with the shepherd hooks was the lower ones anyway. If they're only knee high or even this much, you can still hang some nice flowers on them or something. But then to me, they couldn't possibly be, an obstruction that would injure any workers anyway. So I think that might be a nice compromise. Possibly, okay. I am concerned in my father's grave. I don't have a shepherd hooks there, but I do have a one of the arms for the flags that I have over his grave. He's a World War II veteran, and I've got a flag there for him. Likewise, there he's there for 12 years now. I think I've had to replace that post 3 or 4 times over the years because I guess the mowers keep on knocking the thing over anyway. He's in the cremation section. It's mounted right up against the headstone anyway, but still it gets, you know, but again, that's something there that at least it's lower anyway. So maybe that's something that could go into the mix about thinking of, you know, maybe they shouldn't be quite so high that people are gonna get injured with them. And, you know, I don't know how you'd feel about that. You could still hang flowers from them anyway. Or that if you have a tall one and it's, you know, then that's another system where you're talking about it getting notice. I mean, I don't know if the cemetery has the system in place to actually reach out to the owners, or if they rely just on what, pasting notes on the pole. I mean, oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually like the idea of the little flag. You just flag it and say, hey, you know, you got 30 days to fix this or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Inside that 12, you know,
yeah.
no, we have to remove them.
You just reminded me, we were talking about tall ones. I was out there recently and saw somebody had done this. This is the one that's right. They had taken 2 tall shepherd's hooks, and they normally would look like this. They turned them in this way, and they're perfect. They were right on the. Do you guys do that? Oh yeah, that's the way if you do them this way, then that issue doesn't exist. Then yeah.
And it may take time for people to get it.
Sure.
But I don't want nobody hurt.
No, yeah, well, for sure.
Ours are currently covered in pool noodles right now, so.
Safety first.
I like that one. That's even better.
So a couple of suggestions we have are height related. We also have a suggestion to have a flagging system if the shepherd's hook is outside of the area of the border. Do you have any questions or thoughts about that, or?
That's why, with the borders, it's, like they said, like, too large, whatever, I usually, or if somebody has like rocks or something on their borders, and I usually make a sign, say within, you know, have it fixed within 30 days or whatever, then it will be removed. So I kind of do that with the other stuff now, so.
The other suggestion I was having, and you just reminded me when you were talking. So one of the things that we want people to be aware of, because it sounds like to me this is a pretty good idea, is that when we do take them out, we're not going to keep them very long because we don't have storage for 1,200 shepherd's hooks. So I know that's a lot of people. He gets this all the time. Something you said. Where'd my stuff go? And we assure you, we don't take it and we don't store it anywhere. It blows off, and you know. Unfortunately, people steal stuff all the time, and it just is what it is. But we don't have the capacity to. I wouldn't even know how to even like section A, you know, row 3, you know, and it's on them. I just think that's too complicated to do. So I love the flagging system, though. That's a good idea. So.
And Chip, I'm glad you brought up the point. He was somewhat alluding to the fact that the Parks Department maintenance crew may be removing them. They could be removed in other manners. It's not necessarily an employee doing so.
Yeah.
The only shepherd that will do right now is if they're bent or broken or, just like really bad shape, but other than that, we don't remove any shepherd as of this time.
We actually only touch stuff on graves just a couple of times a year, and we give people way notice about that you know, the clean up after the winter kind of thing, and we're very meticulous about that because we don't want to remove shepherd's hooks because we don't want to be the people doing that kind of stuff. So, but we will get to the point. For example, if I did see one over there that's hanging like this, almost to the ground, they'll pluck that kind of stuff up. So.
Sure, thank you.
I did want to point out, though, sometimes when we have like the rains especially over where we are, the ground gets so super wet. And so obviously, I don't know how often other people are visited. We're there quite a bit. So we have the ability to, obviously, when things get messed up because of the storms, you know, put things back in place. But the ground in some areas is very soft. I don't know if that's a contributing factor
Could be.
to those things falling over.
And if we see stuff laying around, we
Yeah, absolutely. But that was the other thing, was that I was like, the ground gets.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you see a shepherd's hook that is out falling over, do you just put it back up typically? So the only ones you take out are the ones that are broken?
Like if they're really bent or broken or
Okay.
just look like they've been there for hundreds of years or nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time the mowers, they'll push them back in the ground and kind of hang the weight out if they see them.
I have a question, comment. The idea of the smaller flag so that they can see as they're driving around seems like a good idea. How often is that going to be fallen over and it gets into the equipment? Then at what cost are we with fixing equipment, or if it flings it out and hurts someone or damages things?
It happens because, like with the larger shepherd hooks, even if we have to back down, like we have a burial down that aisle, you'll have to take a lot of our shepherd hooks out, because if we don't, when we're backing the truck up, it'll bust the rear view mirrors. We have to take them out, lay them on the ground, and sometimes we don't get them all picked back up, and the mowers get them.
But you see what I'm saying? The smaller ones are a weaker metal, and they're gonna fall over easily and then wrap around the blades or something in the equipment.
We got some pretty powerful weed eaters, so probably if somebody hits them with that, it's gonna bend them all.
Yeah.
So it sounds like within a border is important. The height might not be as important as we initially thought it might be, but just where it's located and whether or not it's maintained properly. And you can see it. And if it's not, we could have a flagging system. Maybe you start with yellow. If you get a red
That even better.
flag, you know that your shepherd's hook is going to be removed.
Put a date on it. They, like, when they find something wrong on ours, they put, you have just till this date to fix it, we'll remove it.
Okay.
I mean, that works perfect, you know.
I like
Yeah,
the
the color
colors,
idea is a
too.
good idea, yeah.
That way these guys can just like stick it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do it like that, because we obviously don't have everybody's number, and we'd be all day long calling.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like a system. I mean, that might make it easier for you guys if it was color coded, folks knew. If they got a yellow one, they need to step up their game, and if they get a red one, they, will we keep it? If you have a red one, we remove it. Can we keep it for 30 days and someone can come retrieve it?
Yeah, I can see that, that'd be a good idea.
I mean, at least give us a chance to keep them,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know, instead of just taking them out.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I understand that, people need to keep their stuff clean and all that. Like I said, I don't want anybody hurt at all, or even damage to the equipment, because that, is awful. We just yank it from us, that's what we do,
Yes.
it's our thing,
Yeah.
it's who we are now.
And that's why we're glad you're here.
Yes, we are glad you're here. And how would you guys feel if we asked people, because, sir, this might resolve one of the issues that you raised too, is asking people to put their names on the shepherd's hook. That way if for some reason it's not there, if you look in the shepherd's hook lost and found for 30 days, you can see your name on it and retrieve it. Or if you're walking around and you see it on somebody
I
else's.
was thinking that.
You can tell who actually comes, because if you see one there that hasn't been touched in 8 months, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why I recommend all the people with their saddles, because
yes.
fall off and end up by South Street all the way to the creek. So we have no idea where they're at. I tell everybody write their name on the foam on the bottom. And
Yeah, that's a great idea. I
It
mean,
is.
just some kind of marking that it's yours.
And it's completely reasonable if you're gonna allow shepherd hooks to require that there be something on them. There shouldn't be, I mean, if you're gonna have it out there, then you should have something on it. If you don't have something on it, just take it home until you're gonna put something on it.
Like you mean flowers hanging or?
Yeah, because that is,
That's
so we
fair.
discussed that last meeting. That was one of the major things we discussed, is because they're really to a mower are invisible, because they're concentrating on something else.
And it's black, like you
Yeah,
said, it fades in the background.
that's right.
Yes. Yeah, they had a chain up at Meyer the other day across the lane. I walked right into
Walk right through it.
because it was black. I couldn't see it. So, and I wasn't paying attention in their defense. So, okay, so I feel like we have the good groundwork for a policy. I think what we will do is draft it up with some criteria, put it out there maybe on, did you just post this one? Did it go on Facebook? How do
We
we?
just posted it at the entrance to the cemetery. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's been almost 30 days it's been up, so it's just been on signs.
But we could, yeah, once we get the policy, we'll definitely get it out on Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll put it in the kiosk.
We'll put it on the website and all kinds of different stuff so people
Okay.
see it, so.
And then maybe we can check into seeing if we can obtain like color-coded flags.
I already have a thought in my head about that, so
Okay.
that's a great idea, so.
Yeah, and then I think what might be beneficial to put in place right now is to have people label the things they put on their loved ones' graves.
So we'll get this policy together. I can envision this policy saying something like, we're going to go through and tag every one of them that doesn't have anything on them. That's your first notice that here it comes. And still, maybe by the end of August, that's still 60, 90 days from now. You've had 60 days to see the yellow flag. Then we'll go on September 1st and red flag the ones that aren't there. And then whatever specific time we decide, that. I love the yellow and red thing. I think you did that.
Well, since we're in May, I hate to wait until the next board meeting to have a policy out at least in draft. So maybe if we
Good too.
can get a policy together, circulate it amongst the board members, then we can put it out in draft for you to post. Folks can provide comments on it. We'll revisit it in June and July, and then do a final in August.
That's perfect.
Does that make sense to everybody?
great.
Well, we very much appreciate you taking the time to do this.
You guys are a lot nicer than mine.
Well, we like to hear that.
Yeah.
Please
Can I make
come.
one other comment about it, and we'll be done? I've been in charge of oversaw the cemetery for about 16 years now, and I want to plug the cemetery guys. It is by far, and people do not believe me when I tell them this, it is by far the most complicated thing that I oversee in the city, and I oversee a lot of stuff. And it is complicated stuff. It's emotional stuff. And these guys do an absolutely great job, and I appreciate them, so.
I really appreciated seeing the
Yeah.
comments and stuff. After last month's meeting, I kind of had a feeling that this was coming, so
Yeah.
I really appreciate the people that took the time to give us their 2 cents, because I drive through there all the time. My father's buried there, and I'm like, there's so many people that do use them, and I do. There was one person in these comments that said, don't make it as cold as Forest Lawn, and that's one of the reasons why I chose this place for my dad, because I've always hated Forest Lawn. I'm sorry, but it's just so,
Yep, absolutely.
Bleh.
We came down here and we talked to Phyllis
yeah,
immediate.
yeah.
I mean, Elena, she was born, 12/12 of 07, and she's in 12, and D is hers, then
Yep.
mine. I mean, it was the way it happened, it was like,
Wow.
Yep, your daughter's right down from my dad, so, yeah.
yeah, you can't miss her grave.
No, but I love it. I do, I love
Yeah,
it, so.
I think it's neat.
And thank you for taking the time to come to the meeting, because believe it or not, we hardly ever get anybody to come to these meetings, so.
We appreciate
Les is
you.
always here, though, we appreciate Les.
Yes.
He's
I know, Les is like,
He's one
wait
of
a
us
minute.
already, so. But essentially, it does help these guys. Listen, we don't want to make decisions that upset people. We're trying to do the right thing, and when we hear from people, that's what they need, so.
Sales does an amazing job too, amazing job, just so you know.
We think so too. Okay, so we obviously welcome everybody to stay through the rest of the agenda, but if you don't want to, we completely understand and we appreciate your presence here. And with that, so I think, does anybody have any questions on what we decided to do and how we decided to do it? Okay.
Sounds good.
So it'll be on the agenda again in June, July. We'll make a final rule change in August, and we will now move on to new business. Brannigan Woods.
I received a request from Brannigan Woods Homeowners Association. I know Tom. Tom is here to talk about, if you want to, basically, I'll give them a little detail, and if you have any comments, you can make them. They want to install a sign, so Tom probably could do this better than me, but, so if there's Brannigan Creek and there's Brannigan Woods in this subdivision, right? And they're very two distinct subdivisions, right? And we own property that almost splits them in half, where they could install a sign that says, now entering Brannigan Woods, for example. They want to install a sign. It's not a big sign. If the internet worked, I would love to show you some. Do you have a picture of it with you, Tom? Tom's smart enough to bring one because the internet's not working. Does it work for you, Brooke? You can't click it? Yeah. So this is what they want to install. It basically says entering Brannigan Woods and then obviously leaving Brannigan Woods. It's dual. We own some property up there that actually none of us have probably ever been to, but I know I have. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be the location. So the location he has circled on here, there is a sidewalk that goes all the way back into Brannigan Woods, and then it connects to a kind of a wooded natural trail that goes back in there. This is the sidewalk here.
Okay.
It's a very long sidewalk. It might be over a quarter of a mile back in there. We mow this section all the way back, so it's not anything that bothers us.
Whole thing along the
Along that sidewalk, yeah.
Okay.
They would like to install this sign. The only place they can really do it that makes any sense, it would be on park property. I have no issue with that because, I mean, it actually will look like it's naturally supposed to be sitting there anyway after you show me the location of it. I only have one request before you decide if they can do it or not. And the request is we contract out the mowing to that. We don't actually mow it ourselves. We have a contractor that comes and does it. I am not for sure, because I haven't contacted the contractor. What I don't want to do is install this sign and then the weeds take it over. With me? I am not for sure that they, anywhere in, that they mow up there, that they weed eat anywhere. So do you see what I'm saying? So I don't want to be responsible for weed eating around the sign, because what you're going to do is you're going to call me every 3 weeks and say, the weeds are taking over this sign. Does that make sense?
Does the HOA do any?
That's what I was going to ask. Does HOA have any mowing in there at all? Perfect. Perfect. We, yeah. That's my request was, if you were doing that already, have him hit it real quick every so often and we're good, so.
Exactly.
I was going to ask him if he would, if he didn't have a contractor, so.
Somebody's gonna do it.
Right.
We have a contractor that does around the ponds and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I'm sure,
Perfect.
if we can get that sign so we stop here, how come we don't have a sign there?
Yeah. And there again, I'm not saying they won't do it. I'm just saying if our contractor doesn't do it, will you have him hit it? Because I'm not for sure, like I said, I don't think they're weed eat anywhere through there, because it would just all be quick natural mowing up there, so.
Yeah.
But I would recommend that you allow them to do that. It's not really in our way, so.
So what if we did permission with the agreement to maintain any portion of the area around the sign that's not taken care of by our contractor?
Be perfect.
Would that be okay with you guys? Okay, so do I have a motion for permission for Brannigan Woods HOA to install an entrance sign on park property, provided the HOA will maintain the area around the sign that's not covered by our contractor. Sorry, that was a mouthful, but
I would make that motion, what she said.
And I would second that motion. what she
okay.
said.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's approved. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to move into the department reports, and the first thing we're going to talk about is Scott Park.
Yep. So, I apologize, but there again, we have no internet, so we're old school on it here. So if you want to go look at it or pass it down or look at it while I talk about it, I'd love to show it on the screen. But so this is the latest concept plan for Scott Park, and I'm going to give you an update of where we are, because there's been a lot of developments really in the last 30 days. So initially, if you don't know about Scott Park, if you're in the audience, we purchased about 40 acres of land that's just north of the current Scott Park. That actually that borders Commerce Drive here in Franklin. It's behind Lowe's, if that helps you. It gives you an idea of where we're talking about. We're converting that property into a sports complex and expanding the current Scott Park that is our current sports complex. The current Scott Park is 5 acres. This one is 40. So obviously it's bigger. It includes 8 ball diamonds, 12 pickleball courts, a playground, a splash pad, basketball courts, horseshoe pits, 2 soccer fields. And one of the developments from this past month is that it's going to have 700 and some parking spots, and it's going to end up right at 1,000 parking spots. So you can see that on what you have here. Roughly 750 on the new side and 250 on the old side. Commerce would be up here. Up there. Yeah, this way. The project also includes a roundabout on Commerce Drive that will be right at the entrance to this park because we were concerned about how to get 1,000 people in and out of this sports complex. So that is included. It also includes connections to the Greenway Trail, not only to the existing Scott Park, but it also on that side of Commerce Drive as well will be part of the project as well. Another development that has occurred is that our consultants run numbers and found that you could go 2 ways on ball diamonds. You can irrigate the grass in the actually nice, beautiful green grass, or you can just put in artificial turf, either one. Believe it or not, they're both very similar in cost, especially when you look at long-term maintenance cost of irrigation systems and mowing and all that kind of stuff. So one of the developments is that all 8 of these ball diamonds will now be all turf. So even the grass outfields will be artificial turf. That's a big deal from an operation standpoint because not only are we not mowing, but there's also no rainouts and those kind of things. So the only reason you would ever cancel games at a facility like this would be obviously lightning or something, which is a big deal. I've met with several sports sanctioning bodies, USSSA, baseball, softball, all already wanting to schedule tournaments at this facility, and we haven't even put a shovel in the ground yet. So a lot of people are interested in it. It does include 2 pedestrian bridges. You'll see the locations on them on the plan there. The soccer fields will be natural grass just because they're so large that I don't think there's any way we could afford turf on those. All these are lit with professional sports lighting. Trying to think what else. We are good. So the existing concession and restroom building that's on the old Scott Park side will actually be expanded and renovated. We've looked at that. I think we've discussed this, but maybe we haven't, because it's going to be related to the next thing we talk about. On the top corner of this concept drawer site plan here is a new park maintenance facility. So we are planning to tear down our current park maintenance building that you see next to the recreation center, and all the operation will be moved up here for all the park system, mainly because we have what I call the auction barn. It's the little maintenance facility next to the amphitheater. That can basically maintain everything we have around here, but really the future park development in Franklin and trail development is actually north. It's not down here. It's already developed down here. So this will give us access to the Greenway Trail, especially the new trails on 31. This will give us better access from there. And then obviously this is going to be a monster to maintain as well. So
Is there already, or will this include a weather alert system?
it'll have weather alert systems in it. It'll have wireless internet across the whole thing. And yeah, we've talked about all those kind of details already. That's kind of where we are on the design part. Where we are on the, we're still working through the numbers. So that's why I don't want to publicly say a number yet, because we're still working on, I'm just be quite upfront and honest with you, I'm still working on cutting the numbers a little bit, because that happens to every project we've ever been involved in. That at one time the amphitheater was 16 million and it ended up being 8. Because part of my job is to get the red ink and start, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this kind of thing. We're doing that now. We're also in the process of trying to figure out if we want to traditionally build this, like, get bids and do a contract, or do we want to do a build, operate, transfer kind of thing? If you've ever heard of BOT financing and construction, we're getting ready to meet with the company next week about the possibility. We're trying to exhaust all of our options before we actually figure out what we're going to do. So, which I think is a good thing from the city standpoint. So,
Yeah, that's exciting.
kind of where we are. So it's still on track. So.
Very nice. All right, do you guys want to see that down there?
We walk down there and look
Okay.
over your shoulder.
How about the pool study update?
So I did talk to you about this last time. So there's 2 copies of this, and if you really want to see a big one, I got a really big one. We're kind of in the same spot with this one too, is that we've made some tweaks to the concept plan so what we're talking about here is, I wish I could show it to you on the screen. We are in the process of exploring the options for the aquatic center that we currently have. It's 41 years old. They only last about 40 years, so I mean, obviously it's at the end of its life. And we are considering expanding the facility and adding new amenities and that kind of thing. We're currently in the concept design stage of what that would look like. One of the reasons why I alluded that we're going to tear down the maintenance building that we currently have to give us more room to expand on the current site that we are at. Potentially a wave pool, potentially some water slides, and we're getting rid of our diving well, and we're going to put in, so there won't be any diving boards, I should put that out there. It will be more of a ninja course for kids, and then we'll add a bigger zero depth pool for smaller kids. Mainly, we're trying to create a facility that will last another 40 years, and that we won't have to worry about. Unfortunately, I don't think I will be either.
No one knows.
Yeah, that's true. But that's where we are on that. One of the things that we recall we are doing, this is part of a study that we hired HWC Engineering to do. The one thing that we're currently doing is, there again, part of my job is to do the due diligence, and I can show you all kinds of bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff, but it really comes down to money. And one of the options that they're not done with that I want to present to you is what I call the bare minimum option, is what can we do to make this facility last another 5 or 10 years until we decide maybe we want to build a new one or we want to expand this one. So it's a third option to say, obviously we're trying to build Scott Park, and it would be kind of tough to do both of those at the same time. So to be realistic, we're trying to say, here's what we need to upgrade and refurbish and maintain, maybe another 5 or 10 years to make this thing keep going. So
And that's what this is, the maintaining.
no,
This is adding.
yeah, this is the
Okay.
adding part. Yeah, I should have the maintaining part to you next month.
Okay.
Only because I've had them switch all kinds of different things around, and they probably hate me, but that's okay. But I want to get you something good that is realistic and something that we can do. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's talk about Kickapoo.
So a lot of these things on here, like Kickapoo starts tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So there are 150 little kids that all came yesterday to an open house and got all their stuff, and they're all coming tomorrow morning. The Family Aquatic Center is scheduled to open tomorrow, and if you recall, I know you're going to recall this, last year at opening day it was 59 degrees. This year, it's going to be 62 degrees.
And raining.
And raining.
Yes.
So just to put it out there, our policy at the Family Aquatic Center is if it does not get above 68 degrees, we do not open. And so I got a feeling, I looked at the weather for Saturday, and we're in the same boat. But after Saturday, it's beautiful in 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
So-
looks good. Well, and that leads us into Strawberries on the Square has been,
Yep.
Postponed to Saturday.
yeah, so that'll be postponed to Saturday,
The
May
30th.
30th.
May 30th, yeah.
Cruising the Amp.
That's the next concert at the amphitheater. I would like to go back and talk about the first event that we had, May 16th at the amphitheater. Looked like it was going to rain all day long. It did sprinkle a couple times. I saw less down there. It ended up, we probably had 3,500 people actually attend that concert. So we were pleasantly surprised about that. That's the first time we've had 3 bands all on one stage. And I know Les got to see it, but I mean, it was that stage before they started was completely packed of equipment because they had 3 drum sets and 3 everything up there. So, and it worked out beautifully. So we had a good time at that. And then the next one's a girls' night out at the Amp. That's
It's important to us.
that's right. That's a girl movie, and I can't remember. You might remember what it is.
13 going on 30.
Ah, see,
Oh,
I like
love
that.
that movie.
It is. That is what it is. 13 going on 30.
That's great.
And then the other we have one more concert. But I think we meet the 18th, but it's the day after. The day after we meet is the June the 19th. I just want to put that on there for you. So.
Awesome.
Lots going on.
Tons going on. I love summer. Okay, let's talk about the financial reports.
This is the one that's all the numbers, is the Athens Rec one. The first one has obviously filled in as last year, and then the second one's where we are this year, so you can do a comparison if you'd like. We're about $150,000 more to the good in revenue than we were this time last year. So
That's great.
that's really good, so.
All right. Parks and Cemetery appropriation.
There again, if we could click on it, I'd love to show you, but we're actually in really good shape on both of them, so
Good.
very pleased financially, so.
Awesome. Well, this has been a
Eventful.
meaty meeting. So usually we're so quick. Does anybody on the park board have any comments? All right. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you so much.